Welcome to our first episode of Kicking It with FC Woodhaven. I'm Anthony DeCoco, and every Wednesday night you can watch our live broadcast right here on our YouTube channel. Each week we'll keep you up to date with all the Woodhaven soccer news and updates, such as upcoming matches, recap of scores from the previous week. We'll do player spotlights where we hear from the players themselves. We'll also do coaches spotlights where coaches can give thoughts after a big win or a tough loss. We'll promote events and upcoming soccer programs as well. It's very important for this setting to be as natural as possible. We want our players and parents to watch and enjoy this at the same time. Now that I explained the concept of the show, let me introduce our Director of Coaching, along with Girls U8 and Boys U13 Head Coach, JP Rojas. JP, thanks for coming in.
Of course, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
This weather is just ridiculous.
Unbelievable. I'm a teacher as well, so I'm definitely hoping for a snow day tomorrow. But
it's not going to help us with practice on Saturday.
I'm hoping
about 4 to 8 inches.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping there's be a snow day tomorrow, but then enough sunlight the rest of the week to kind of just
I mean, we got to get these teams outside. We got to get them ready. Which luckily we're in a preseason tournament this Sunday at St. John's. We have all our teams in there. U7s, U8s, we got the U9s, U11s, the girls.
Yeah.
We got your team. We actually made 2 teams. We had a big enough roster we were able to put a U12 team and a U13 team in. So, I mean, St. John's is good because we've done it for the last 5 years now, and we've always used it as a preseason tournament.
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to be good to get the teams out there and get, at least 3 games under their belts.
Yeah.
And especially incorporate the new players that we've added to our teams. We've added a lot of new players to our teams. So, but, I mean, it's good that we're here. The show is going to be good. And we've come a long way. I mean, you're here 4 years now?
Yeah, about 4 years. What I like about this weekend also about the St. John's tournament is that it preps the teams. It gets them ready for the season. And it also allows a coach to really see and assess his team where his team or her team is at, and then he can really develop proper
especially our U7s, because our U7s are coming straight out of the developmental league, and they played a year up in the developmental league, and they held their own. We added a few pieces towards the end, but now it's going to be good now to get them off of Southern Field onto another location where they'll see other competition other than Woodhaven teams.
Is this our second or third year at St. John's?
This is actually our 4th year at St. John's. Yeah, wow. I mean, we had put about 4 years ago. We actually put a couple teams in. We used to put only our older teams in.
Okay, yeah.
Then 3 years later, we wind up putting all our teams in.
Yes, time flies. I mean, because I've been with the club for 4 years, and I do remember being in the tournament the last several years. And every year, it really seems like the teams that we submit have really improved, and then I think that's really important. And like I mentioned before, that these tournaments really help us.
Oh, absolutely!
Help us, get the kids playing more.
And you spoke on improvement. I mean, we're coming off our best season ever last season. Yeah. I mean, we got a positive result in 72% of our games last season, and that's just a credit to you, Ricky, and the rest of our coaching staff, because really have gotten on the same page, gotten that structure in there. We're all, following a curriculum. And again, whether you're a U17, a U17 team, we're all training our players the same exact way. So that's very important. I mean, we just came off of our meetings last week, and it was great. It was great to get the coaches in here. And just to tighten up and make sure everyone's on the same page. Because, again, with us, it's all about the development of the players. And, again, last season was, it was good to see. Years past, we used to always go in and take our lumps and always tell parents, what, come U9, come U10, teams will start to improve. When you start having younger teams start to have some kind of success, it does make the process a lot easier. And it's easier for the parents to buy into what we're trying to accomplish. And I think the parents do see that we're all on the same page. They see that we know what we're doing, and they know what the ultimate goal is. I mean, I get calls all the time saying, oh, if I have my kid join your club, you're going to make them a professional. For me, that's not what it's about. It's about getting these kids to the next level and getting these kids to academically get to college.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not about the professional. If they do what they need to do, everything else will work itself out. So, you know, that's definitely.
Yeah, I've noticed that, you know, like I said, in the last 4 years that I've been here, and it's the communication that we've had, just like you mentioned, the meeting that we had last week, where we had with the coaches and the team meeting, the team managers were there as well. So everybody's kind of on the same page. That way the parents are always informed on the status of the team, on the practices, and it really helps. It makes my job a lot easier as a coach. And it's definitely just a great avenue to have for the parents.
Well, I'm glad you said that about as a coach, because we had about 10 minutes ago, before we went on the air, we sent the tweet and questions to Woodhaven Soccer, using the hashtag AskFCWoodhaven, or email your questions to info@woodhavensoccer.com. So we have a question that just came in from Tiago.
Oh, really?
Which is actually your player. What is your biggest challenge as a coach?
Wow, good question, Tiago. Very good. Now, the biggest challenge I have as a coach is, I would say, is to send a message out about team unity, kind of to build on that team unity, but to teach that, because that's very hard to teach. But I think one of the biggest challenges for me as a coach is to kind of help build that camaraderie, because it's really a lot on the players as well. But all you can really do is just try to lead by example, and just try to just encourage positive sportsmanship. And luckily with our team, Tiago, I think we're doing very, very well with that. But I appreciate the question. Good question.
Right, we actually just got another question from Ezio, who's on the Boys U9, and he's asking, what does the director of coaching do?
What is that?
So I think we both can help with that. I mean, when I appointed JP director of coaching, it was very important that I had two roles I wanted to fill. I wanted to fill the technical director position and the director of coaching. So the technical director went to Ricky, who's the head coach of the Boys U9 and the Boys U15. And obviously the director of coaching was, with JP, preparation is key. And that's something I love to be prepared. And that is something that I saw from the beginning with JP, as far as with the preparation. And I wanted him to bring that down to the other coaches, and, pretty much let them have a plan on how to execute what we're trying to execute. So JP is in constant communication with our coaches. He's, checking his lesson plans, making sure the coaches are following the curriculum, which is also what Ricky does as well. But as far as with the lesson plans and executing it, JP is on top of that. And JP and Ricky work hand in hand. So, I mean, technical director, director of coaching, they're on the same level. The ultimate goal is the players, and the ultimate goal is, the club. Absolutely.
And we touched on it a little bit before, as far as the communication, and this is just having these billets, like a director of coaching and that technical director. I think that's really important, just to get the word of the president out, and that we're all on the same page, and we have a curriculum this year. So to follow up on your question, SEO, it's also important that, like you said, that there's some oversight. So oversight meaning that there's somebody kind of like over what. Now we make sure that the coaches have their own responsibility, and they have, but at least they know there's some kind of structure, and that they should come prepared. And thank God, usually, I mean, we have great coaches here. I mean, great coaches, and everybody is committed. And so there's just another level of just to make sure that we're all on the same page, and just make sure that we're all communicating.
Yeah, I think what helps with the travel teams is having the assistant coaches as well, because again, we're molding the assistants.
Yeah.
For down the line when they become head coaches. But honestly, especially with the younger ones, when you have two coaches and you have 14 players and you have two coaches, you now can break it down and get a lot more accomplished and really focus more on the technical aspect. And as far as with the travel teams, I mean, this is the first year we're going to start transitioning into 3 days a week. And that's where our director of coaching, JP, and our technical director, Ricky, are going to be hosting those Monday training sessions with the teams. And it was important to get the third day of training in because our teams, they need 3 days a week. All right. The other reason why is I wanted JP and Ricky to get familiarized with our other teams, because when we head into tryouts, they're going to be part of the process and they need to know the players. And what happens with the 3 days a week, and like we discussed on Mondays, they're going to focus pretty much on the technical aspect. So this way now when coaches have their teams the other 2 days, they have 90-minute sessions. Instead of working 60 minutes on technical, they can cut that down now to 35 minutes of technical, because they know the teams are going to get 90 minutes on Mondays, and focus a little bit more on set pieces and the tacticals. So it's that definitely helps as well.
Yeah, I also think it's important that Woodhaven Soccer Club is like a family, so it's important that everybody that's around, or everybody that you see on the field, things like that. And this also gives me and Ricky an opportunity to get to know the club, like to get to know everybody, all the players, and like Anthony said, we're really just going to focus on a lot of technical work, and the coaches can work. And it's also good for the players, I feel, because then it's just a different voice that they hear, and just something new, something different, just to mix up training a little bit and make it a little interesting.
Right. And the other good thing is, they'll have the feedback to the coaches where you can say, listen, I think player X is very technically, it needs some work on this. It's definitely great to have the extra set of eyes, the extra training, and to have that feedback from JP and Ricky to the head coaches.
Yeah.
And again, we tell our head coaches all the time that, listen, Ricky and JP are not there looking over your shoulder. They're there to help, to assist, ask any questions. But again, bottom line is we're all on the same page here. Definitely on the same page. So, I mean, we'll touch a little bit more on the travel teams later. Wanted to go into the developmental league. I mean, our developmental league has improved and grown each and every year. It was about 3 years ago, we just ran a basic intramural program where kids just came down and we incorporated a practice, incorporated a scrimmage. And I said, you know what? I wanted to do some kind of developmental league, because with the amount of numbers we have in the developmental league, that's the foundation for our travel program. So we went to the 1 day a week practice, and then having the games on Saturday. You put them on individual teams. And again, getting developmental league players onto our travel teams is always the ultimate goal.
Absolutely.
But it's also good for the players that don't want to become travel players, or they went to tryouts, haven't made our teams, and they want to stay in that developmental league. You could stay in our developmental league from age 4 to age 15. And what we've done on the Mondays is really, it's not just about showing up and kicking a ball around.
No, absolutely.
We put a plan in, and you've been part of it on Monday. So what has been your experience?
I mean, the way I approach it, and the way that we expect the coaches to approach it, and is that we treat it as if it's just a training session, as if you're training like travel team players with the same type of motivation, the same type of effort, but we're focusing more on basic skills and developing their skills. So really more of a basic style, and working on technical skills, so like dribbling and passing with the proper foot, the proper part of the foot, and just keeping it very basic, but also making it fun, because what's very, very important, and like Anthony touched on it, of course, that some of these players do move on to travel soccer, but some of them don't. That's not their main goal. That's not one of their main goals. But the issue in America right now with obesity and it's not that we have very unhealthy kids in this country, is that we have very inactive kids in this country, and this is another opportunity for them to get out there and just be active and enjoy the sport, and then maybe they will enjoy the sport, maybe they do want to continue on it, but this just gives them an avenue.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the developmental league, we do have a turnover rate. I mean, we pretty much turn over about 25-30% every single season, and I've always looked into it to say, okay, Is that a bad thing that we're losing them? And again, our program has grown every season. Unfortunately, what happens is, kids come into the developmental league, 4, 5, 6 years old. They're trying the sport out. And we all know soccer is not for everyone. And I support trying every single sport. So what I do tell parents, though, if they only do a season or 2 seasons and leave, my job is to just make sure that they become a fan of the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because again, soccer is not for everyone, but if we can make them fans of the game, that's also going to help the sport grow as well. But the developmental league has been really well. The games on the weekends and the way we do the teams it's pretty much random. If you played in the fall season, you remain on the same team in the spring season. But if you look at the parity, I mean, each year and each season, those games come down to the end, and it's so good to see that even though it's a developmental league, we're still giving them competition.
Absolutely.
And it's just great to see. And I absolutely love seeing how many players from the developmental league have made it onto our travel teams.
Yeah.
Because when you have 300 players in a developmental league, it's like I keep saying, that's the foundation.
Yeah.
You want to keep building from it. And, matter of fact, speaking of what you have, I think 3 or 4 players on your current team that came from the developmental league. And one of the players, and we all know that one of my favorite players is Kyrie.
Yeah.
Kyrie was part of the developmental league, didn't know anything about the game, but that is a player that he spent, I think it was 2 seasons in the developmental league, went to the tryouts. He made it on a team, and he just kept putting the work in every single season, every single practice. And that's the joy that I get. Because when, as much as, yes, there are recreational players in the developmental league, there are players that are going into the developmental league because they're trying to prove that they can make it onto a travel team.
Yeah.
But this is a player that joined the developmental league, didn't know anything about soccer.
Yeah.
And not only did we make him in love with soccer.
Not only that, I'm pretty sure that it's not in his. I'm pretty sure his family doesn't play it either.
No, I've spoken to his dad, and his dad did football, basketball. I mean, the funny story is that one day his dad told him to take the garbage out, and he took the soccer ball with him with the ball, because I'm constantly telling the players to be with the ball. So that is definitely an enjoyment of seeing these developmental league players make it onto our travel teams.
Yes.
But on the Mondays, I mean, you were doing the age, I think, 6 and 7 year olds.
Yeah.
Which it's a tough group. It's a tough group.
It's fun, but it's tough.
But at age 5, 6, and 7 year olds, those are sponges, and that's where you really can.
And you can see it week to week. You can see, the first few weeks, of course, are a lot tougher, a lot more challenging for a coach, and later on in the season. But you can see the first few weeks how a child is not even, just very shy and not social, and then and not really comfortable playing the game. I mean, because they've never tried it before. But once you see a few weeks pass, you can really see them. You can start seeing smiles on their face. You can start seeing them have some cohesion with the other players and get used to the other players. And little by little, you can see them. I think it's enjoying it, but because they're also see like, oh wow, I'm actually improving at this. I'm trying now. I'm more comfortable with this. I think that's also important. But yeah, I really enjoyed the developmental league on Mondays.
We just got a few questions that came in.
All right.
So let's go to over here. We got one question from Luca, which is also
Luca. Here we go.
Luca has been part of the club since I think he's 6 years old.
Yeah.
So he's been with us now. It's about 7 years. So he wants to know, will there be any changes to the team going into? He wrote next season being in a higher division, but I'm assuming he's talking about this season.
You're gonna put me in the spot like that, huh, Luca? Okay. No, actually, good question, Luca. So, that's something we're gonna touch up also on the tryouts. The tryouts are in June, all right. But with the team that we have now, I'm very confident that that this is the team that's gonna give as much effort as they can. And you guys have been rewarded because you won the championship. We had a party. We had a party at the end of December. and you guys got your medals, and you had a nice little cake with the FC Woodhaven logo. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see it? All right, so we're going to continue. We're going to continue on, but that season's passed, and then we've been rewarded by getting more competition. So now we are going to be in a higher level of competition. But that doesn't put any doubt in my mind that we're going to go out there and
compete. As far as this season, the roster is the roster.
Yeah.
And yes, there are tryouts every June.
Every June.
And again, we look at it as like we do with every other team. We're looking to improve the team.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, players are going to have to step up.
Yeah.
But again, we have tryouts for a reason. We want to get the team better.
From where we started, I started with the team, what, U9 or U10?
U9.
U10. There's been faces, everybody that's been part of that team has helped us to get to this point. And yes, and the team has improved. The players that stayed, and they have improved. And overall, as a team, we have improved. And that's why it's important that you continue to, have that self-effort and to just continue to just work hard, and the team will continue to improve.
Right. The last thing players really should be worried about right now are tryouts.
Yeah. We're walking into this season.
Right.
We're gonna talk. Since we're on the subject, this year this team is getting. I'm very excited for this season because we have many tournaments we're going to be in. We're going to be competing for the State Cup, we're going to be competing for the Long Island Cup, and we're still going to be competing for the league. So our focus right now as a team is really to just go, head on, and then every game and focus on every single game.
Right.
But we have a lot of opportunities.
The players, you can't really focus on divisions, those are numbers.
No.
You know what? You got to look at every single training session where you just want to improve,
absolutely,
get better,
always.
Because if the improvement's there, the divisions are gonna come.
So, yeah. Another thing that I also think is, that helps, and I don't want to stay on this on one team so much, but it's also going to help is the captains and the team selections as far as the captains. And I think that's also some very important tool that the team has and the coaches have as far as what kind of leadership we're looking for, and they're really going to be the eyes and the ears of the coach and really help with the improvement of this team.
Yeah, we'll touch a little bit more on your team. Yeah. But let's break down a lot of our teams. We'll start.
Thanks for the question, Luca.
But again, if we have our U7s, where their first season traveling.
Yeah.
And again, we tell parents all the time, U7, U8, the results do not matter to us. All right. Again, it's about developing,
about the improvement. Yeah.
Getting the teams ready, getting them, ready for travel. But unfortunately, at the end of the game, there are scores, so the parents do keep track of, wins and losses. But again, that team, they played a year up in the developmental league. I think they're going to be very strong. You have Gianni, Robbie, and Jonah that are definitely going to anchor that team. Eric is very strong. Caden is probably the most improved player on that team. He won the juggling contest during the President's Week camp. But that team, Christian is improved. Benjamin is improved. Everyone on that team has improved. Jonathan, Jonathan is someone that started in the developmental league, and to see where he's become now is great. So again, we don't like to focus on the wins and losses. You win, you lose, you tie. The idea is to keep improving and getting them to play the way we want them to play. Our teams need to get quicker. We got to get more technical. We definitely have to, keep them going and just getting them improved. Eric is the head coach of that team. Eric's done a phenomenal job with them. Giuseppe was his assistant. He's now playing over in Italy, which we definitely wish him the best. John Nunez is going to step in and become his assistant. So he's definitely in good shape with that team. You have Robbie's dad, Rob, who helps out. He's an assistant coach. So you have three hands over there for that bunch, it was going to be good. We'll save the girls U8 because that's your team. We'll go to the boys U9. That's Ricky's team. my youngest son is on that team, and that team is, to be honest, there's been highs and lows, but majority of those players are U8 playing U9, so we know in a couple of years it's definitely going to pay off. But that's a team that we're looking for it to really take to the next step right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at the developmental league, and we spoke about the developmental league before, we are loaded with U9 players that are looking to become travel players.
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to get help on that team. But that team has been together for a while, and are going through their growing pains. But a great bunch of kids, keep improving. And we do have to keep in mind that majority of the team is U8. Then we have, the boys U11, which were U10 last season. We added 5 new players to that team, which all 5 players, guess where they came from?
Developmental.
From the developmental league. We had open tryouts, and we added 5 new players to that team. And that team is starting to look like what we're trying to build. Marlon does a great job with that team. Giuseppe Yard is also the assistant coach in that team, and that team is also, the new players are not eligible, but the U10 players are still in the New York Cup, which they were supposed to have a game this weekend, but because of the weather, and then next weekend. So that team is definitely on its way. I mean, that team is led by Christian and Anthony Pepe. So
old man Winter's got to go.
No, Winter definitely has to go. Then we have the girls U11, where that team, the original team, all came from where?
Developmental league.
From the developmental league.
Yeah.
That team. Last season was all about ties with that team, but they competed in every single game in Division II, they proved that they're looking to take it to the next level. Penny is coaching that team. Penny is also the head coach of Baruch. Penny has done another phenomenal job with the girls.
Absolutely.
Those girls, and again, when we created that team, except for maybe 1 or 2, I don't think any of them knew what a soccer ball was. That was a team we created because we wanted a girls team. So we tried to get as many girls as we could from the developmental league. We started them at U9, and those girls have put the work in, and really have become a great team. Still, listen, they still have work to do, but again, they're on the right path, and they're looking forward to the Long Island Cup and the league games.
Yeah, Penny really brings this level of just intensity that he brings with his style of coaching, and it really translates into great sessions, and the girls really feed off it. It seems like those players really enjoy it.
Yeah, he's starting to realize though the girls are getting older.
Yeah,
and again, we're trying to take them to the next level. So it's a balancing act for him as well.
Yeah,
but he does a great job with that team. Then we have again, we'll skip the U13s because that's your team, so we'll focus on the U8s and the U13s. But we have the U15s, which Coach Ricky coaches that team, and with the U15s, we're happy that Chris Florio is back. We're happy that Jack is back, Matthew's back. They played high school last season, and having them back now this season is definitely. Coach Ricky is ecstatic that those players are back because they were definitely missed last season. So that's a team that we definitely, and we're looking to get those players ready and still focus on them, and really they're about another year and a half away from starting to look at colleges. And we really need to make sure we put them in a great situation, and Ricky does a great job with them. And we're definitely looking to bounce back with that team from last season.
And also, there's something else that we focus, and we talked about this in the meetings also, is the importance as far as the academics. We really that really is very important to us, and we're definitely in communication with the team managers as they are with players, and we make sure that a player is a student first as well, and we really want these kids to. We really want them to get to to college, and we want them to play soccer, of course, but we want them to get an education.
Yeah, I mean, my mission statement has been, use soccer to further your education. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely.
So, but again, with the U15s, we're definitely looking for them to bounce back and have a solid season. And then brings us to our oldest team, which is our U17s, which Penny is coaching that team and training that team. And it's great for those players because now they see a college coach and what's expected. And again, we have about 3 or 4 players that at the end of the season they'll be going off to college. So we want to send them off the right way and definitely make a run at the division and just send them off. But Patrick is definitely leaving. He's looking. I think it's either South Carolina or Alabama. And actually, Kevin Beltran and Patrick are going to be playing in the college showcase game with Gacci on Sunday.
Okay.
So that'll be good for them as well. But having Penny with the U17s is giving those players great experience, seeing a college head coach, because, again, he's getting them ready for the next level. This is,
of course,
they've heard us say about college and a college coach. Now we gave it to them. We gave them Penny, and Penny is doing a good job. Unfortunately, the last 3-4 weeks with the weather hasn't helped. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we were able to get a couple of sessions in over President's Week at Alifant Sports Center.
That camp really helped out.
The camp was great. It was definitely you missed it. You were on vacation. You needed a little vacation. But the camp was great. I mean, we ended it with a PK contest, a juggling contest. It was great to also see outside players from the club. I mean, we had a lot of Gacci players over there, and we thank them for that. But the President's Week camp was absolutely great. So since we touched on those teams, so let's touch on your 2 babies.
All right.
Which is the girls U8 and the boys U13.
We spent some time talking about the U13. It was good to see some of the players watching and sending over some questions as well. The U8 girls, this is my first full. I just finished the first full season with them, and they went. I mean, look, we really don't focus on the wins and losses like we spoke about before, but we definitely noticed that we went undefeated. But it was also, it came undefeated. But these girls have been putting in the effort. Just the way that they would just come to training sessions, just ready to play, excited. And we had a good positive result this season, and we're just going to continue again to improve. And we went on a positive, but by no means does that mean that we're just going to coast into the next season. We're still going to concentrate on every single session and making sure that they're improving and that they're having fun, and that we try to have another successful season. But that I think
I mean, you definitely brought structure to that team. Giovanna is also the assistant coach on there, and she's done a great job with you. Where this season, we talked about this, where first 15-20 minutes of each session, want you to back off a little bit, let her run the warm up and the session. This way gives you time to evaluate the other teams, but also to see how she has evolved. As a coach, and which is good. But the girls, listen, I mean, they were our most successful team. They were our most successful team ever for a Woodhaven team with what they accomplished. We never had a team do what they did. But again, it's not about the wins and losses, but it is rewarding to the players, to the parents, because they see the hard work. They see what we're trying to do. And when you can see the results as early as we did, it's great. Because again, like I said, years ago, we would put our teams in and they would struggle all the way till U9, U10. It's nice now to see our younger teams enjoying some success while they're improving as well. So the girls are definitely going to, try to build on their season. It's going to be, we'll see what they'll do in the St. John's tournament. Because if you weren't there last year, but a year ago, the first time going outside, it was fun. This season now, I think they're ready to compete and see if they can start the improvement. You know, and which brings us to the U13s. I mean, U13s are, you know, we're going to be asking a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, we're changing the style of play.
Yeah, I hope you guys are still watching. But yeah, so now we're really gonna we're gonna.
We're not gonna say what the style of play is.
We're gonna just hire our expectations, and I think it just comes naturally because last season we had a goal, and you know, we spoke about it before at the party and everything. We accomplished our goal, and now we're gonna set new goals for the spring, and again, we really have to focus on the improvement and about bringing it every single session, bringing it with the right attitude, and meaning, you know, being respectful to your coaches and your players, which I have seen a lot from the U13s and the teams that I've coached and overall in the club, and again, to just give effort and to continue to improve. And we're gonna be pushed, but I think it's only natural. I think our players want that. I definitely want that as a coach, but I want you guys also, you know, to get pushed.
Absolutely,
really step up.
No, we definitely. I mean, the questions are coming in like crazy.
Oh, great.
Let's start with. I have one here from Josephina and Percy.
Okay.
All right, Josephina is our boys U9 team manager.
Hey, Josephina.
It's also Tiago's mom, which is on JP's U13 team, and she wants to know what is one way that parents can support you.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's all. That's a great question.
That is awesome. I think that, you know, as far as support, I think I received enough support from the president of the club and the coaches and everything like that. I think that what the parents should do is just focus on the 100% the support that you just give the team, and just to focus on the best way to support me is to support the team, I think, and just support the overall. And then, of course, you want to root for your child, and by all means, of course, but just the positive messages that should be coming from the sideline, and just rooting not just for your player, but not for your son or daughter, or whatever the case might be, but just for the overall team. And I think by just getting behind us and getting behind the players, I think that's invaluable for those players, you know, and for the team. So good. Thanks for the question.
And always remember the ride home.
Yeah, the ride home.
The ride home.
Saw that email. I mean, that was a great message. That was a great video, and it's so very true. You know, just continue to be positive with your sons and daughters, and support the team, and in turn, then that would just be that'd be.
All right. Now we also got. I mean, your team is popular now. I mean, we got another question from Luca.
Right,
he wants to know if there'll be any tournaments in the spring and summer. Well, I mean, as far as the tournaments, I mean, we said it 6 months ago that Columbus Day and Memorial Day are absolute mandatory tournaments.
Absolutely.
So yes, all our teams will be in Memorial Day tournaments. We're looking at them, you know, hopefully within the next week or so, we'll figure out exactly which tournament will work for us. But definitely, we are going to be doing a lot more tournaments. Just, you know, tournaments work.
Absolutely, and another thing that I've noticed, you know, being here for the past 4 years, is, you know what, the more games that we're playing in, and the more tournaments and the more cups, and I think it was a good gradual. I think it was great that it happened kind of gradually, and we had a really positive season last year, like 2 seasons ago when it came to the Long Island Cup. And then that's just another thing. Yeah, tournaments are very important. Luca, Tiago, you know, team, but also it's the State Cup and the Long Island Cup, and again, but it's also taking it at one game at a time, and we're bringing the approach after every session.
And we can't forget about training. I mean, it's all about training. It's all about.
And of course, whenever you hear us talk about the games, and naturally we're going to talk about tournaments. But yeah, we are. I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited about being in as many games as we can, and just playing as much soccer as we can. I'm very excited about it. So, yeah.
All right. I see I got 2 questions here from Brian, which is a Bay's dad on the U9 team. First question is, any new information on the new academy program? As many of you know, we are starting an academy program, which basically is going to be an additional 1 day a week training. Really not any more information I can release on that. All I know is within the next 3 weeks, we will be looking to start selecting the players. Once we get an idea of the number of players that will go in. We'll come up with a cost. We'll come up with a location. But those 3 days, that extra day is going to be with 3 coaches, and it's going to be JP, Ricky, and Penny that are going to be doing the training. So that is definitely going to be in addition to what goes on with your club team. His other question is regarding the U9s as far as with tryouts, with kids playing up. And again, with the U9s, like I mentioned before, majority of those players are U8. And again, they're competing. We're not saying that they're not competing. But we know the numbers are going to be large when we get to tryouts. And that's going to work itself out when it comes to tryouts. When we look at the date of births, if there's enough to make, we're not looking to cut players. If there's enough to make 2 teams, yes, we're going to make 2 teams. And if we do have to make 2 teams, that's when we're going to look at the ages and see, okay, it might be better to play the younger players on the younger team and the older players on the older team. So we will, that'll all work itself out come tryouts. So we also have Gio here, which is Gabby and Amanda's dad. And he's been monitoring some of our questions on social media as well. So what do you got for us, Gio?
I got a question from Sarah. She was on the website. Her question is, I was on your website, and you have a skills clinic that starts March 7th, this Saturday. Can I get any more information on that?
Oh, okay. Great question about the skills clinic. Yes, I think we have 2 spots left for the skills clinic. Basically, every year I do a skills clinic right before the spring developmental league season. You know, we do have an all-year program, but what happens in the winter, not everyone can participate in the winter developmental league. So I do this 5-week skills clinic. So this way the players that have been sitting home for the last 3 months with the winter not being able to get outside can get outside and, you know, sharpen their technical skills and get them acclimated to playing again. So yes, I do suggest if your child is new, sign up for the skills clinic, and it just goes right into the developmental league. So thank you for that question.
All right, we got one more question from Angelo. He wants to know, when can you expect tryouts for your travel teams?
Tryouts been a big topic. Yeah, our tryouts are in June. The dates have been posted on our website, which is woodhavensoccerclub.com or fcwoodhaven.com. You know, I really don't like touching too much on tryouts right now because, again, we really want to focus on the season in hand. But the tryout dates are posted on our website. They are open to everyone. It's a $15 fee. You get 3 training sessions, and that all can be seen on our website. Any other questions, Gio?
That's all for now.
All right, we got a question from Joshua, which is your players.
Right. U13 in the house.
What must the players for the boys U13 show in order to be eligible to be a captain?
Oh, that's a great question.
Oh, I love that. I love the captains.
That's a good question. Okay, so we have we do have a team sheet, you know, like a roles, like what teams, but basically it really comes down to responsibility and what you're showing during our sessions and during the games. And it's not just the effort that you give, but it's also the communication, how you communicate with your teammates, and of course leading by example and making sure that they're always there on time. The captain should always be there on time. They should always be motivated, you know, give great effort, and also they need to be able to communicate. I think the communication is also very important, that they have to be able to communicate with the coach and to their teammates.
Another good question. And I've always said with captains, it never has to be the best player on the team.
Absolutely not.
You know, like you said, it's leadership.
It's leadership.
And we treat our captains, you know, we put them in high regard.
Yeah. In our squad in the 13s, you know, it's, you know, I've been thinking about it a lot, and you know, and it's they're going to be a great help to the coach. They're going to be a great help to the coach, but they're also going to be a great help to the team, and they're going to be very, very, you know, very important pieces, just as if everybody is. You know,
no, very good. Well,
yeah.
I really hope the snowstorm doesn't happen, because we really need to. We have our training session set for Saturday. I have the skills clinic beginning on Saturday.
I know some of them out there are wishing for a snow day. Though.
Yeah. I mean, I do believe that the St.
then we
John's
can still
tournament
get
will
on
go
Saturday.
on
Yeah.
regardless.
Okay, yeah,
They will plow those fields.
Mhm.
But again, thank you for joining us for our first episode of Kicking It with FC Woodhaven. Remember, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is FC Woodhaven. You can follow us on Facebook at Woodhaven Soccer Club. You can follow us on Twitter at FC Woodhaven, and you can follow us at Instagram at Woodhaven Soccer. You know, definitely all upcoming programs or anything, you can definitely go to our website, woodhavensoccerclub.com or fcwoodhaven.com. We also will be getting a new website, which should be within the next week to 10 days. We're transferring over to a new website, which our YouTube channel will be on our website, so you'll be able to watch it directly on our website. So once again, thank you for joining us, JP.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming in. Gio, thank you for helping with the questions.
Anytime.
And we'll see you next Wednesday night at 7:30. Remember, this was Kicking It with FC Woodhaven live.